Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live, talk radio without the static. Email your questions and comments to lynn@pghcitypaper.com. And now your host, Lynn Cullen.
Hello there. Welcome to the program. It's great to have you here, and I think we do have you here today, as well as my sister Susan, but it's on a little bit of a jerry-rigged system. Hi, Suze.
Hi, and that's a German slur.
Jerry-rigged? Is it really? Oh, yeah. The Jerry's was is that a derogatory term for German?
I don't know. Sounds like it to me.
Oh, so you're just bullshitting.
Of course. Well, isn't that what I do?
And here is our bullshitter-in-chief, my sister, Susan. Well, but wait. Somebody could look that up. Jerry-rigged. What's the derivation? You might be right.
It just occurred to me when you said it. I mean, because I now listen to words that I didn't listen to before, because our language is peppered with all of these acceptable slurs.
Minefield.
So,
Do you know, I was talking about acceptable slurs, I was playing Words with Friends, which is essentially Scrabble online, last night. And to get to a triple word score, I put down the word slut. They didn't allow
that's
it.
a perfectly good word.
They didn't allow it. Do you believe that?
No. That's
a
real word.
They've gotten like, oh no, you can't use the word slut.
No, that's bull. Men can be sluts. It's just not been equally applied to them. But of course.
Well, I don't know.
For example, you could use it thusly. Donald Trump is a slut.
Really? I think of slut as very female-centered.
Only because that's the way it's been done. It applies to, usually, as you say, a woman who is easy.
Yeah.
But, hey, I think more men are easier than women. So, why aren't men sluts? All you have to do is turn the corner.
Hey.
I mean, if you and I is now the same as you, it replaces you and me in all things. All you have to do is turn language, clearly.
Okay. I was talking to a younger person yesterday who's in a rock band, and she was talking about a bandmate who was driving her nuts, and she kept saying they, and I got mixed up. So I said, what do you mean? You mean it's more than one of your bandmates? She said, no.
No, that might be the preferred pronoun.
That's the preferred pronoun of this
right.
person, which suggests what? That they...
It's not altogether clear. It could suggest a process of transitioning for a trans person when they feel they're sort of in the middle, or it could be. I mean, I knew a person that used they as they were transitioning. He's now he. But there are other people that I think just identify neither in a non-binary way, and they might also prefer they.
I'm trying so hard to be progressive on this, but I at some
if
point.
You don't understand it doesn't mean it's not real.
I know it. It's just such
really real.
Goddamn minefield now. Who knew pronouns are now?
Well,
I
no
can't
one
go
has the
there.
Right to be angry at you for using the wrong pronoun unless they make clear that they have a preference. I mean, you gotta with all of this new information has to come a little slack.
Yeah, well, what are the odds?
It's a real steep learning curve.
What are the odds? If you're an adolescent, it's a time when you don't know what the hell's going on with your body, with who you are. You're changing in every way, and you don't know who you are. And maybe an it. Can somebody say I want to be called an it? I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
No.
You get to pick your pronoun. That's
all right.
where we
Okay.
are,
Well, then call me it. So,
okay.
I mean, no, I just think. So we're all supposed to stay on top of this as kids.
Post-cis.
What?
I post-cis.
You're post-cis? My son, who's a younger person, he does make fun of this. Although I know he like does this whole dance about what he is. And it goes on forever because it is at the extreme mockable. It's funny. I'm sorry. Do I have to turn in my liberal credentials now?
I get it from the majority of us who are comfortable in our own skins. I'm not
saying I'm comfortable in my own skin.
I'm just aware of this whole population that
I am too.
Does not have an easy way through life, guys.
I understand. But there's somehow now, I don't know. I
know, but I mean,
and if you think
your
that
reaction. Your reaction reminds me of the way we used to giggle and laugh at the telethons on TV when we were children.
I wouldn't bring that up, Susan.
Well, I'm just saying, we wouldn't do that. Now, we know better. And if we know better, then we should sort of apply it across the board, it would seem to me.
All right, you take the high ground. You take the high ground, and I'll take the low ground, and I'll get to Scotland before ye. Okay. You were talking about men being sluts?
Yeah.
Okay, I have some indication that you are correct here. It happens to be in the science section today. Can you name an animal in which the male gets pregnant?
Oh yeah, it's that little fish. It's that.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
Well,
it's also the one the cousin of the little fish you're thinking of is also a sea dragon. Those little sea dragon. Those little guys who look like horses.
Seahorses. That's what I was picturing a vertical fish.
Yeah, but they come in different. So there's one called a pipefish. There's seahorses, there's sea dragons, and believe it or not, the males get pregnant and give birth. I did not know that. And the everything is totally reversed. And the females have to do all these, belly dances and stuff to try to get, attract the male, so the male will accept their eggs. And males tend to be very choosy, but once they are pregnant, generally speaking, they really work at being a good incubator. It's very much, they have something similar to a mammal's placenta, and they just go about nurturing their young. And however, there is evidence that, and scientists have now called it the woman in red effect.
It's always the girl's fault. Do you see that?
It always is, and if she's wearing a red dress.
She's a temptress.
Remember, I know. Our own grandmother never forgave her father for, suggesting that because she wore a red dress once that she was
a slut.
That's
Absolutely.
Right. That's right. So the red dress. It's called the red dress woman in red effect. And if an especially well-endowed female, even after the male is pregnant, starts, doing her thing with him, hey baby, the male will abort. He'll abort so he can get it on with the lady in red.
Well,
I'm just telling you.
We got to call us some pro-life fishes out there.
I know. This is here's a lady in red that they're speaking of, and this is a pipefish. Okay, she's hot, right? So she did not have an abortion. She caused abortions.
Yes, well, I think that we need to impose a 3-day waiting period on that mail.
Oh, dear God. All right, what else? Speaking of male sluts, let's just stay on this for a while, okay?
Okay.
Matt Lauer. Remember him?
Yeah, well, he certainly was one.
Yeah.
You see my point?
Yes, but I don't think anyone called him a slut.
Well, I am.
Okay, fine. But I think somebody look up slut and see if it doesn't say promiscuous woman.
No one's looked up jerry-rigged.
All right. All right. Amy, look up jerry-rig derivation and look up slut. Anyway, Matt Lauer is apparently still working out a divorce settlement with his wife, ex-wife. It says it's his ex-wife. So why is that? Oh, he's agreed even after divorcing her to pay her up to $20 million more. I don't get this. As divorce negotiations reach their final stages. Anyway, I guess he's giving her most of the house in the Hamptons, which used to belong to Richard Gere, and the New Zealand farm. I think he's keeping, just keeping you up to speed on these people. And then Kevin Spacey. Did you know that he had a movie that he had made never got released?
He was blotted out of it and they recast him.
No, that's another one. This one is called The Billionaires Boys Club. It's a true crime flick, and the production company that owned it thought, gee whiz, I mean, my God, let's just put this out there for God's sakes, which they did. They released it in only 11 theaters nationwide.
And it did just fine.
Well, Susan, you're wrong.
No one went?
His latest movie earned just $287 in its opening weekend. How is that even possible?
Nobody knew what it was or that it was.
Yeah, but
there.
how? If you put a movie up, I mean, how do you only get $287, even from 11 theaters? It said there was a theater in Middletown, Connecticut, where it made the most money, $45. You know, people go to movies. You see, oh, yeah, okay, I'll do that. Apparently, I mean, I didn't even think that was possible.
I'm trying to figure out how much the tickets cost. I guess it must have been a rush hour show, and they were either 9 people for $5 or 5 people for $9.
Well, who the hell knows? Anyway, so, and speaking of...
Does it include concessions?
Speaking of attempts at comebacks, Louis C.K. apparently popped up at a New York comedy club last night and was given a very warm reception.
Well, can I say that I don't require that these people never work again. I require that they stop being assholes.
Yeah. Well, he didn't refer to any of it. He just did his usual. I don't know.
But you know what I mean? Just cut it out.
Yeah.
I keep reading how all these state legislatures have reacted by having harassment classes, classes in what not to do. And I'm thinking, really? If you are an adult person and you don't know
I mean
that what you are doing is wrong, how is a class going to help you?
I would agree.
That's not the issue. You just think whether it's wrong or not, it doesn't apply to you. So here's the class. It applies to you.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, Susan, the derivation of jerry-rigged is nautical.
Yeah?
Oh, you're going to hold out that it was a German sailor who. It's about a boat, right? What, John Smith?
Well, good. Feel free.
No,
Jerry,
there's no German anything in Jerry Rigged. And if you, Amy, dictionary.com or something, slut.
Well, it might not say that it refers to a man now. I'm saying that language is changing these days faster than you can say that's wrong.
Right. Walking it back.
I'm not walking it back. I'm telling you how I'm using it. I think men are more deserving of the term than women.
Okay, probably true. And Amy says, it says promiscuous woman.
Well, I think that's a sexist definition, and I'm changing it to person.
All right. And, I mean, you may well be right, but you're probably just a little ahead of Funk and Wagnall.
I am a trendsetter.
Okay, Merriam-Webster and all the others. All right, what we got here? Let's see. Did you happen to see the wonderful, just off the top of his head, statement by the guy running against Ted Cruz, Beto O'Rourke, to a questioner about NFL players taking a knee?
And taking the knee, it just eloquent.
Right. And that was off the cuff.
Well, yes, maybe. And maybe he expected to get that question and had an answer prepared. He would be a really bad candidate if he were not,
ready,
figuring out what he was going to be asked.
Well,
but he did it really well.
Well, I thought it was just brilliant. And you see, it takes a while. You know, you have to set up. You have to put it in historical context. You have to, and for bumper sticker thinkers, which is what most people seem to be, you never are able to explain anything to them if it takes that long. What did it take him? 3 minutes? You can't.
A good long time, but it was such a beautiful and concise explanation of what a respectful, mandated almost by our country. It is your responsibility to make it better.
Exactly. I, for some reason, am not able to get this thing up. I want it to get it, but there was a Washington Post piece today about how Ted Cruz has jumped on that eloquent, wonderful statement, has cherry-picked little phrases from it, and is putting them in an ad, a political ad, targeting Ted Cruz.
Of course he is, because now he's editing it down to the attention span of his base.
Hey, by the way, the article did say that in polls right now, O'Rourke is statistically dead heat with Cruz.
He's I think 3 or 4 points behind, but that is statistically.
I think I saw it was even closer than that. I thought I saw a 40 to 39.
Well, maybe there's a new one since the last one I looked. I've sent that guy money.
Yeah.
I've sent the woman in Texas money.
You know, I'm seeing. I saw a bumper sticker for Beto yesterday here in Pittsburgh. I saw another bumper sticker when I was walking the dog, and I tried to memorize it, but damn it, I can't. It was, you take the word supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, and it's that word, but it's been altered, and I can't remember it. Okay, the first 3 are supercalifragile. And then the rest, it's obviously Trump. it's just so super callous, fragile. I'll have to get the second part. If anybody can find that bumper sticker for me.
Fragile, narcissistic?
I can't even remember. Narcissistic could be in there. but they got it. I mean, it's got the exact cadence, and it almost sounds the same. And if I ever get it in my head, I won't remember supercalifragilisticexpialidocious anymore.
Expialidocious, right.
So,
yeah, well, it's interesting how now all politics is local is taking on a very new meaning.
In other words, what? People.
Because we are so linked.
Yeah.
We are actively interested in what are essentially local races, and in fact able to help. Little guys are able to help, and you can see that it's working. I mean, whoever, Beto can run for something else, because he's got a national following already.
That's true. And I mean, I'm already looking at him as Barack Obama. Barack Obama
there
incarnate.
Would be a presidential candidate. You goddamn betcha.
Yeah.
There he is. I have been looking and looking and looking.
He's
and
my guy
I
right
found
now.
Him. I don't care if he's a white male.
I don't
he
either.
Is the most electable voice out there.
Right. He really looks good. Really looks good. So. Oh, someone sent me this, and I am surprised. He thought for sure. He said, I'm sure everyone's going to send you this story. And then, in fact, he was the only one who did, and I was really disappointed that I didn't get more. Because usually when there's a horny dolphin story in the news, I get bombarded with it. And he's the only one who sent it to me. And, in fact, I saw it today, I think it was, in the New York Times. In the international section, because there's a dolphin who's got a apparently constant erection, who is plying the waters off the coast of France and causing beaches to be closed down because
he probably ate some cast-off Viagra.
Well, that might be, but they say he's in heat, and I mean. He's humping boats. I mean, people are out there, in a little boat, and all of a sudden they got a dolphin humping them. As someone who was accosted.
As someone who's had a personal experience with a humping dolphin.
Yes, with an erect dolphin. I must say, they are, you talk about sluts, man, they are some frisky animals. And what the marine biologists say, and this is exactly the same thing that in my case, these are very sexual animals. They also are essentially pack animals as well. And this guy is alone. And my guy was alone. And when they are alone and they've got that sexual urge and there's nowhere to put it, they look anywhere they can. And I mean, that's what's sad about this guy. He's got nowhere to. Aww. So it reminded me of. Yeah, they said he took one woman and like sort of threw her up into the air, which is what happened to me too. He put his nose between my legs and went, and I went flying. Oh, I'll tell you. So anyway, that happens a lot. It does. And some people are saying everyone's overreacting, big deal. But no, they can. It was clear that in his excitement.
That's a strong animal. And
yeah, that's a big animal. And it's an excited animal. And, guys in heat, I don't care if they're...
And like most males, when he's thinking with his pecker, he's not doing the best work.
That is correct. Not thinking clearly.
Can we say pecker? I don't mean to refer to
Donald Trump?
Not Donald Trump, to his
friend.
Best friend at the...
I know, it brings it all in. For some
National
reason...
Enquirer. I mean, names that you can't imagine no one changed.
How... Yeah. I mean, how is that even possible? It's like, it just... one joke after another. You couldn't make it up. pecker. Oh, there was
And
this
he's such a
hysterical. There was this hysterical screenshot from MSNBC saying White House worried pecker will leak.
I sent that to you.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, well, thank you.
I don't know if that's real or not, but it could have been.
Whoever didn't. Well, when you're dealing with pecker, you would have to be on your. See, now Milton sent me something about slut, and it won't open. Nothing's opening on my computer. God damn it. So.
Why don't you just restart it, Lynn?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how. Restart it? Close the whole dang thing down? Okay.
Just restart it, yes.
All right, restart. I'm going to do it. And we'll see if that works. Anyway, a woman, I just got it. It's all woman. Woman with low standards. A woman. Oh, dear God.
I listen. I understand that it has been applied to women, and that is not what I have been saying.
I understand. It should not be
I'm aware
a gender specific.
Are generally that a slut is considered to be a woman. I'm pointing out that in these days of equality, that men are more, or at least as deserving of that title as women. So stop it.
Yeah. So, where should we go? There's some big stories out and about. I want to note again that yet another civil servant has thrown up his hands and just said, "I'm out of here. I can't do this anymore." And this is happening more than you can imagine. I mean, I noted that at this time when cybersecurity is so important in our country, the top 3 people in cybersecurity walked out. And these are
why would you think that your government wouldn't want to beef that up now unless they were actively cooperating with our enemies?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's no other honest explanation.
I agree.
When we get to try the whole majority party and the president for treason, I want to know.
Here it is. Supercalifragilistic racist sexist Nazi POTUS. Said quickly. Supercalifragilistic racist sexist Nazi POTUS. That works. Even though the sight of him is something quite atrocious. If you say it fast enough, it always sounds, I don't know, atrocious.
Well, precocious.
Supercalifragilistic racist sexist Nazi POTUS. Dum diddly diddly dum diddly I, dum diddly diddly dum diddly I. Thank you, Jonathan.
Okay, come up with the verse.
When I was I was this, I could my nose a tweak and told me I was and I don't know it. Do you?
No.
Okay, now people are sending me.
Aren't they being helpful today? I'm just waiting for you.
Okay. Oh, and Milt sent there's a T-shirt. Supercalifragilistic racist sexist not my POTUS. They don't have Nazi. They got not my.
I think that's better.
Not my POTUS.
No, actually, I like Nazi better because he is your POTUS, whether you want him to be or not.
Oh, so many people have done this. Let me see. Here's another. Supercalifragilistic ego Trump, you are atrocious. I still think I like the supercalifragilistic racist sexist Nazi POTUS. Or is that? Yeah. Jesus. How am I supposed to remember this? Supercalifragilistic fascist racist extra braggadocious. Have at it. You can do whatever. But you gotta love it. Yeah. So Barbara
Well,
and Jonathan, thank
I
you.
do
That's
think
it.
that I mean, this is the sign of a healthy populace that is fueling itself with humor to keep up the battle. Because otherwise, we'd all have our heads in the oven.
Yeah. I'm getting another complaint that the volume is low. I don't know. We check it out, and it's okay on our end. We're blaming you.
Turn up your volume.
He says it's all the way up. She says it's all the way up. Yeah, and, talk about, Hillary Clinton was not strong enough when she used the word deplorable for these Republicans. This horrible woman who's, running today in the Republican.
McCain announced his impending death to screw up her.
Yeah, that's what Chris just wrote in. Did you hear of the Republican in Arizona that said McCain purposely stopped treatment and died to hurt her? Oh.
I got one weapon left, and by George, I'm going to use it. I'm going to die on her.
But that's not even the. Wait, I've got. Where is it? Oh. Here it is.
She's apologizing now.
No. As a matter of fact, today I thought I saw she said something else.
No, I have MSNBC on silent in front of me, and they showed her apologizing just now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's with these people? Like, they don't have they don't stand with. Look at. Well, let's not. I was thinking of Trump with the flag and the way the absurd that how he had to cave on his petulant attempt to use the flag to denigrate John McCain, and how he bowed to the veterans of foreign wars or the American Legion, I'm not sure which, who probably have a lot of Trump voters there, or maybe fewer now. Yeah, Kelly Ward is this idiot. And, but this is not all. Listen to this. According to other conspiracy theorists, and this is making the rounds in.
Oh, right. He didn't have brain cancer.
He did not succumb to cancer, but in fact committed suicide to avoid being hauled off to Guantanamo Bay and put before a military tribunal for his longtime work helping Islamic State terrorists.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Now, how do you even...
Why can't we throw these people in jail? How does it... I don't understand how just totally smearing with, knowing lies is okay. I don't know. I really don't. I mean, you have to be able to carve out from the legal nicety that people in the public eye can't be besmirched, because clearly they can.
Well, you know what? And here's something that I don't think got much treatment in the media, but our president, I think Thursday of last week, invited someone he admires, and they took a picture together in the Oval Office.
Right.
This guy's name is Lionel LeBron, and Lionel LeBron, ladies and gentlemen, is way out there. He's a big conspiracy theorist. He is
He's the guy that makes most of them up. He doesn't. He just and he does it knowingly. He just makes crap up and then puts it out there.
And he promotes the online network that, in fact, said McCain committed suicide to. And the president has his buddy Lionel LeBron in the Oval Office, and 3 days after this jerk LeBron was with Trump he tweeted an image of Trump crossing a swamp of Democrats, featuring racist images of Barack and Michelle Obama and the words, "fire at will." This is the president. It's hard to... Okay. I just want to... And, you know, you can't believe... The fact... I guess what's so unbearable is how many people are willing to believe this, right?
Well, I can't... Now you know how the Italians felt when the whole world was laughing at them for Berlusconi.
Except this is worse.
This is much worse.
All right, can we handle a little heavy stuff? Oh, no, wait. Ah! So much stuff. Paul Krugman wrote a scary piece today called "Why It Can Happen Here." And if there's anyone now who thinks that that is not possible, then I think you're living in a fantasy. Would you agree, Susan?
Right. I do agree.
Yeah.
That's the scariest thing about all of this, that we have seen how totally that this country, I've said this over and over and over again, that this country that was one of the few things that, you know, that I just took as being strong enough that I didn't have to worry about is clearly not.
That's right.
And can, in fact, be almost dismantled in 18 months.
Right. Right. How quickly. So he comes up with this. This is fascinating that when the Berlin Wall went down, he says a friend of his who was an expert on Europe made a joke. And this was the joke as the Berlin Wall fell. "Oh, good. Now that Eastern Europe is free from the alien ideology of communism, it can return to its true historical path, fascism." And Krugman says, at the time, it was a joke. But look at Eastern Europe today, and it turns out this guy was absolutely right. Both Hungary and Poland are pretty much already there. Hungary especially is just unbelievable. Hungary, they have the trappings still of a democracy, but in these countries, listen to what has happened in these countries. They have, yes, elections, but they have totally destroyed the independence of the judiciary branch. We're doing pretty well on that one. They have suppressed freedom of the press. They have institutionalized large-scale corruption. And they have essentially delegitimized dissent. And they've got a one-party rule. And it seems pretty clear that as you look at today's Republican Party, they'd be more than happy to do the exact same thing. Right?
All right.
For power.
Well, they are doing the exact same thing, and we do have one-party rule.
And Krugman says, you know, a year ago it seemed maybe possible that there might be limits to the party's complicity, that there would come a point where at least a few representatives or senators would say, no more. And now it's clear, he says, that there are no limits. They will do whatever it takes to defend Trump and consolidate power. And he says, we are suffering from the same disease that Hungary and Poland and other countries are suffering from. And frankly, you can say what it is in a nutshell. It's white nationalism run wild. That's what it is.
Yep.
White nationalism. And folks, that is so much like the goose-stepping, pure purification of the Aryan race crapola, right, that the Nazis peddled. And Krugman says we're very, very close to the point of no return. And then, you start listing some of the things that they are doing. When a Democrat won the governorship in North Carolina, you know what they did? This happened a little while ago. The state legislature, still controlled by Republicans, got together and passed legislation before the new governor took office,
I remember this.
stripping the governor's office of almost all of its power. That's the kind of thing they're willing to do. Or have you seen what's happened?
But wasn't that immediately found unconstitutional?
I'm not
by
sure.
Their own state Supreme Court?
I'm not sure about that. I don't remember that. And have you seen? Has anyone noticed what happened in West Virginia last week? The Republican legislature there impeached the entire Supreme Court, which were a lot of Democrats, got them out, and guess who they appointed to fill those seats? The leadership of the state legislature that had impeached them. All Republicans. They literally staged a coup of the West Virginia Supreme Court.
And nobody's in there protesting this stuff?
Oh, I'm sure there's quiet little voices, peep, peep, peep here and there. And, of course, our news media, all Trump all the time, can't cover what's going on. But he says when you look at this, he says don't look at Washington. Look at what has been happening at the state level. And as we know, Republicans legislatively control, I think it's 30, God, is it 35 or 36? I mean, by far most of state legislatures. And they're also, these are the ones that are passing all of these voter suppression efforts. In Georgia, you saw this recent one where they got a black woman Democrat running for governor who's apparently got a shot. And there was a county that was attempting to close down seven of the nine polling places in a majority black county.
Well,
but Susan,
that was stopped. That one didn't get out of the starting gate because there was such a hue and cry. It's absolutely terrifying, and it doesn't take a whole lot of paying attention to see it happening all around you.
No. And this didn't get much attention either. It was from the New York Times a few days ago. You know how in 2016, before the election, the Obama White House was told by the American intelligence agencies that the Russians were up to something, that they looked like they were trying to fiddle in the election. And Obama, fearful of looking like he was, he was in a spot, right? The intelligence agencies already knew that the Russians were working to help Trump or hurt Hillary, however you want to do it. And they knew all this stuff because of informants inside the Kremlin.
Right.
Guess what?
They're disappearing because it's too dangerous now.
Not a peep. We have no information anymore.
Because they can't trust us.
That is absolutely correct, and you know why they can't trust us? Will you recall Devin?
Because we're colluding with them.
Will you recall Devin Nunes and the House committee? They outed Nunez outed an undercover operator. This guy operated in the United States and in London. He's an academic, but a guy named Stephen Halper, but as soon as that happened, as soon as the Republican-controlled Congress outed a guy who works with our intelligence, you think other people who work with our intelligence didn't go to ground? I mean, they just scattered. And not only did they scatter, but foreign intelligence services, our allies who would share information with us, stopped, pretty much stopped, because we've got traitors in office, in positions of power now.
And how long before, they come back? Because even if we manage to resolve this situation, we don't know who's in the ranks now that has been put there and is in fact a mole.
That is correct. Do you know how long, and they go into how long it takes to find someone that's, inside the Kremlin, and how dangerous that would be for that person, and how you've got to, and they say that, even getting they can't even get meetings. They're trying to arrange, they can't talk to these people anymore. They can't find, they have all gone dark. They say we're just operating in the dark, our intelligence right now. Intelligence agencies, it says here, do not believe Putin has changed his strategy. Instead, they simply don't have the same level of access to information from the Kremlin's inner circle, so they can't say what's going on like they could just 2 years ago when there wasn't a traitor in the White House. Unbelievable. So it says here, the U.S. employs multiple forms of intelligence, including intercepted communications, penetrating computer networks, and that we continue to do. But people inside or close to the Kremlin are critical to figuring out whether there is a strategy behind seemingly, just sort of disparate efforts that you see here, there, and everywhere. So being able to pull all of this other information together requires somebody on the inside. And they also say because clandestine meetings take months and months to actually set up, a lengthy lag time can pass before the CIA realizes that a key source has gone down, has gone silent, has perhaps been killed. It is rare for our intelligence agencies to discover immediately that informants have eroded or are running scared. But they do feel that that's what's happening. We've got callers. Now remember, don't knock Susan.
I got it.
Okay. Hello, caller. Caller?
Hello, ladies.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine.
Hi, it's Ray from Lawrenceville.
Hi, Ray.
Hi. I'm be gentle. I'm uncomfortable with this, but I wanted to give you a call.
Okay.
Can I go back to the pronoun conversation you were having earlier?
Yeah, if you want to wade into those waters, go ahead.
Well, no, it's not just a toe dip, not a wade. But a while back, I read a book. Professor James Pennybaker wrote a book, The Secret Life of Pronouns, and that was before all of this controversy. And it was sort of a textbook, but it was really fascinating. And he analyzed language. He was a psychologist at the University of Texas, and he was trying to analyze language as a predictor to other things, behavior and personality. But in reading that, he did an analysis of words, and he grouped some words as stealth words, not verbs or nouns, but prepositions and pronouns. And he pointed out that those arise in the brain because they, I guess, hook gizmos to people's heads. That pronouns arise in 1/10 of a second in our brain, and unlike a proper name or description, they're just part of the stealth words in our language. And I don't mind changing the proper names for people, or if you present he, she, all right, I'll switch for you. But when you're asking for example, there are made-up ones, Zim, Zer, or
yeah, I don't know what those are.
Singular.
Zim and Zer.
Your brain isn't going to work with it.
Right. It's totally, it ain't there. It's not in it. It's well, cis wasn't in it either, and it seems to now be making pretty good inroads.
That's a noun, like a cis.
No, is it?
Yes, cis white female. It becomes part of a proper description.
But I thought white is an adjective there, and I thought cis was an
adjective. It's an
adjective.
Right, but I guess my point was that when you are trying to replace a substitute word, a stealth word, at least according to this book, it seemed very difficult to do it, unless maybe if you raise someone from Jump Street, but to rewire a brain at our age to accept a new classification of singular as plural, plural as singular, or new pronouns created independently, I think that's asking a lot of someone. And I don't know what, as much as I understand the suffering, or I don't understand, I try to appreciate the suffering of anybody going through like a gender dysphoria and trying to reestablish their individual personhood. There's a point where maybe I can't do that for you, and is that creating so much suffering that we shouldn't even talk at all?
Well, I think people increasingly, and I know even myself, are walking on eggshells just having a conversation with somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. And I keep going back. I don't know that our side, the leftist, liberal, compassionate side, I don't know if we know when we've won. We just keep fighting. We just say, okay, we want to get to there, and we kind of get there, and now we're going to move it a little further, and we're going to ask more and more.
It never stops,
this
right?
Backlash occurs.
Right, I agree, and I
think Trump is a backlash.
I agree. I as I was going to say, this kind of thing is what makes nice, good, regular, ordinary people say, all right, F you. I cannot deal with you just throwing bombs into my reality and my world anymore. Enough. It's like, we expect people to change on it. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Is the return worth it? Is what you're asking from me, what it's going to take me to give it to you, is it really that? You've gotten so far. Is this last little, or maybe presumably last little bit, so important?
Is it worth having Donald? Is it worth having Donald Trump?
Wait a minute.
As
Let's
president?
just put this conversation and change all of that and insert the word black or African American. Haven't you gotten enough, folks? We let you get married. I mean, we don't. The rest of the. No. I mean,
that's my only point. I don't want a straw man argument here. I'm just saying pronouns.
Okay.
Pronouns is a bridge too far.
We're hardwired to associate him with a he-looking man and her with a she-looking woman, and that it's hard when you can't tell. And I totally agree that if people have a preference about it, they should let you know. But once you're let know that person number A, with whom you are obviously in some sort of, whether casual or not casual relationship, but enough that they would tell you how they prefer to be referred to,
you'd make an effort.
I would think that
you'd make an effort, and you know what, Ray, you would too.
That's all that anybody's saying. Not that you figure it out on your own.
I respectfully disagree. That is not all this is. To ask someone to refer to a singular human being in the plural form in a conversation confuses everything.
It screws my head up, I'll tell you that. I can't look at a person and say they. I can't.
Or a made-up pronoun, Zim.
I have trouble with
her
it too.
or we.
I'm with you.
Anyway,
It's turning everything on its head, and I'm sorry, I just can't.
these are tough times.
Yeah, these are tough times, and here we are, empathetic, liberal type people, and we're saying, Jesus Christ, can you just slow it down?
Can you imagine what it's like in rural Alabama?
Ugh.
Or West Virginia, how they're.
No,
I don't know what. I don't know what helps.
No, but I'm with you.
Some things don't help.
No.
All right, ladies.
Great to hear you. Thanks. Call. You're good. Go ahead. You can do it. Bye. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye. That's Ray.
I don't know. All I can tell you is that the pain is very real for the individual. So,
But Susan,
that's where
pain,
I come from.
Here's what I'm saying. Again, we can't, I understand that. Pain is part of life. Not everybody has an easy road, okay? I guess we all know there's a hierarchy. White men, heterosexual white men, have had the easiest road. And even they would say, you think this is easy being a white heterosexual male? I can't express my emotions. I'm supposed to be a he-man. I'm supposed to do this. Everybody has this crap that they carry with them. And we can't be expected to just make it all okay for every single person. It cannot be. I just think we're starting to get into a silliness. Personally.
Yeah, okay. I totally understand where you're coming from, but I can't help but feeling like what you're saying is, I've gone this far. I'm only growing this much. To ask anything more of me is disgusting, and that's it. That's all you get.
No, and I got to tell you.
That's where the world stops changing.
It doesn't. It slows it down. We have asked people to adjust to so much change. First of all, they're getting it technologically, which has nothing to do with anything we're talking about. Everything is destabilized. And then you tell them something as basic as he, she are now potentially, hurtful, and you got to ask people, and this. For some people, and just look at how LGBT, okay? I have to admit, I started making fun of it, and I still sort of do. LGBT. I was there. I even got to LGBTQ. Now I know it's LGBTQI. Or there's an S in there, too. I think it's searching. I don't know what the fuck it is. But I say, take that alphabet soup and stuff it. And if I, Miss Empathy, am feeling this way, how the hell do you think hundreds of millions of Americans are reacting to it? And the Democrats and the liberals come down hard on this shit, and we lose people. Slow down. Just slow down. Do you know how long it took me to get comfortable? I wasn't even there right away on gay marriage. I was all like, marriage? Well, how about just civil union? I mean, as I said again, am about as empathetic as they come. Now, okay, I got it, marriage. I still find it weird when I say, yes, and she is her wife. That sounds odd to me, but I'm doing it. How much more? And now I'm supposed to do Zer and Z and Cis and LGBTQSRMLP. I'm telling you, I've had it up to here. And I'm a member of organizations that do this shit, so I get emails from people, and at the bottom it always says preferred pronouns. And, okay, all right. Susan, I just think it gets into craziness. I'm sorry.
Well, I can understand that you feel that way, and I'm here to say that when 30 years ago it was proposed that we add a new honorific. Instead of Mr. and Mrs., we could have Ms. I remember all of this.
Well, but look at how long we took just doing that one little thing. And now we expect people to turn on a dime every other week with something new?
Yeah, I know, but that was a made-up word and everything.
That's right.
So, I don't know. Listen, we clearly are in different places on this. I know change is hard, and I just think that you're not allowed to barter away people's lives for a vote. And so everything.
And look what we've got.
I can't.
Look what we've got. People's lives? I'm not killing anybody. I'm nice to everybody. I am totally. I mean, God, just stop pushing this crap. I'm not kidding. This is how I really feel. So there I am. How many of my audience are now leaving me, deserting in droves? I can't.
We're just presenting two sides.
I am so sick, and it is driven by it's coming out of the same crap that does safe rooms and trigger warnings and all that shit. This is the shit coming out of academia, and a lot of it is shit. And the right is making hay with this. Making hay. And I would do the same if I were them. I'm just saying. Excuse me. I didn't know I was going to get that excited. Okay.
Okay, Lynn.
Okay, Susan. Well, I'm glad we got you on. Great. We still don't have this thing fixed exactly, but it works. That was good. Thank you.
That was good.
Yeah.
And I managed to poke you in just the right place to get you to eat up the last third of the show.
Shit. Yeah, and probably cost myself. God knows what kind of email I'm going to be getting in the next.
Well,
Okay.
Just remember her sister. Okay, bye.
Bye. Bye, Suze. Her preferred pronoun is she and her. Mine is it.
I'm a her.
Yeah, okay. I want to be an it, okay? Thank you very much. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
It'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah. It'll be back tomorrow. See ya.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper or its advertisers.